¿Te acuerdas de cuando eras pequeño o pequeña y debías afrontar un momento que percibías como incierto? Un examen, el dentista, el médico, un deporte, una competición, una situación emocionalmente dura. ¿Te acuerdas que si era algo que no querías afrontar o temías, te daba dolor de barriga o de cabeza o incluso fiebre? Percibir la vida como un peligro activa en nosotros el modo de supervivencia, y si mantenemos ese modo durante largos periodos, etapas que rebasan totalmente las funciones para las que está creado, enfermamos. El doctor Bruce Lipton nos habla en este clip de cómo usar todo esto a nuestro favor. Nos aporta su visión científica para que aprendamos la forma de brindar a nuestro cuerpo el mayor bienestar posible, utilizando sabiamente nuestra mente y nuestras emociones. Generar para nosotros mismos la máxima salud y sanación es posible aplicando los conceptos de la epigenética.
Back in 1968, I was learning how to clone stem cells. And back at that time, just a handful of people in the entire world even knew what a stem cell was. So I was in the right place at the right time to make some interesting discoveries. I put one stem cell in culture by itself. It divides every 10 or 12 hours. At first there's 1, then 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, doubling. So I have 50,000 genetically identical cells. That's not the experiment. This is. I split the cells into 3 different petri dishes. And what I do is I change the chemical composition of the culture medium. Culture medium is the equivalent of blood. So if I'm growing mouse cells, then what I do is look at mouse blood, see what it's made out of, and then try to make a synthetic version of that called culture medium. So here's the point. Genetically identical cells in 3 dishes, but slightly different environment because of the chemistry. In one dish, the cells form muscle. In a second dish, the cells form bone. And in a third dish, the cells form fat cells. Significance? What controls the fate of the cells? Point? They were all genetically identical. The environment is what was selecting the genetic activity of the cells. The nature of biology is simple. Biological organisms adapt their biology to fit into an environment. Let's say I'm looking at the activity of my liver cells in the body. And I say, well, my liver cells should be adjusting to what's going on in the environment. And I say, well, how does a liver cell know what's going on in the environment? The answer is this. The liver cell is not touching the environment. It depends on the nervous system to send information about the environment inside the body so the cells adjust their biology to match what's going on in the world. Well, we only have one problem in that, and that is this. Consciousness is an interpretation. So my mind is interpreting the environment. So if I change my perception, my mind, change my belief about life, I change the signals that are going in and adjusting the function of the cell. The point is very, very significant. By my ability to change my environment and by my ability to change my perception of the environment, have the ability to control my genetic activity. I'm not a victim of my heredity. I'm a master of my genetic activity. In understanding how we deal with the environment and deal with perception, there's a mind between the environment and my cells. And when I say the mind, everyone thinks of a single entity, the mind. The mind is comprised of 2 interdependent elements that work together. And that's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind, the latest evolution of the brain, is the creative mind. When the conscious mind is engaged in thinking, the subconscious is the default program, the autopilot. So my conscious mind can be engaged, but my subconscious mind will carry out whatever chore I'm doing, walking, driving the car, communicating with another person. I don't need my conscious mind for that. I already have programs of how to do all those things. When we look at the world, we're actually operating through the subconscious mind. The programs in the subconscious mind primarily came from downloading other people's behaviors. Your mother, your father, your siblings, your community, in the first 7 years of life.
Como habéis podido ver, según lo que comparte el Dr. Lipton, la manera de guiar nuestros patrones genéticos depende de los programas, sistemas de creencias, paradigmas, etc., instalados en nuestra mente subconsciente. Si tenemos un programa que nos hace huir cada vez que debemos afrontar un reto, este condicionará nuestro comportamiento ante esa situación, pero también repercutirá en nuestra salud. Si nuestro sistema de creencias nos hace ver un mundo aterrador, desagradable, oscuro o inseguro, nuestras células y todo nuestro cuerpo trabajarán para generar la química y las circunstancias necesarias para sobrevivir. Es posible que nuestro ambiente, nuestro entorno, sea así realmente. Pero si no es el caso, si nuestras creencias son las que nos conducen hacia esa visión, ahora sabemos que lo podemos cambiar. Y si lo hacemos, sanar y vivir una vida en paz, saboreándola y exprimiéndola tanto como nos sea posible. Recordad que uno de los objetivos, uno de los principios de este canal es intentar hacer entre todos de este mundo un lugar más amable. Como siempre, espero que os sirva, dejadme vuestros comentarios, damos las gracias a nuestra iniciativa impulsora Equitació for Life, yo soy la lluvia fina y nos vemos en la próxima. Un grandísimo abrazo.